Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here, back with another video, and today we return with college football predictions, as today we'll be talking about USC. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. And last year, USC, Lincoln Riley came in and they had all the hype in the world. And as they headed into the Pac-12 championship game, they had one loss to Utah. And they lost to Utah again, and as we know, they eventually lost to Tulane. So they ended the year with 3 losses. But Caleb Williams won the Heisman last year, and he is returning this season. So USC is right now playoff or bust. So this USC team it's going to be interesting to see how things play out this year. Like I just mentioned, you have Caleb Williams coming back. And I think he's just going to keep on improving because you get in an NFL experience and a great college guy in Cliff Kingsbury as your quarterbacks coach. He knows how NFL quarterbacks are, and I think that's only going to help Caleb Williams in the long run. Now, will he win back-to-back Heismans? We haven't seen it in a long time. I don't know about that. But Caleb Williams, I don't think he's going to have like a slump, especially with how last season ended. If anything, it's going to be more of a motivation factor. So I think Caleb Williams is still going to be fantastic and still be one of, if not the best quarterbacks in all college football. The running back situation, you just have Austin Jones returning, and you stole Marshawn Lloyd away from South Carolina. So you have a great duo at the running back position, and you still have one of the best receiving corps in all college football. The crazy thing is, even though Caleb Williams won the Heisman and had over 4,500 passing yards last year, no USC wide receiver, or just receiver in general, had over 1,000 yards. It just shows how deep this core is at USC. Now, did Jordan Addison getting hurt play a factor in that? Yes, it did. He probably would have been a 1,000-yard receiver. But it just shows you how deep this wide receiver core truly is. You have Dorian Singer, one of the, I would say, a top 20 wide receiver last year from Arizona coming in. You still have Mario Williams. You still have Brendan Rice. You have Zachariah Branch, who was the best receiver prospect in his class. You still have Taj Washington and Michael Jackson. This receiving core is super, super good. And it's super deep as well. But you still lose a few guys at the receiver position. Jordan Addison due to the NFL. You lose Kyle Ford to UCLA, my bad. CJ Williams to Wisconsin. And Gary Bryant Jr. to Oregon. But the fact that you lost all those guys and USC has one of the deepest receiving cores, if not the deepest in all college football, is just insane. And shows how this Lincoln Riley offense truly works. The offensive line, you do lose a few guys like Andrew Voorhees due to the NFL, but I still do think your offensive line is going to be really good. We already know this USC offense is going to be top 5 in the country, and I don't expect that to change this year. The defense was by far the biggest question mark last year, and you slightly improved in that area. You get in some transfers like Mason Cobb from Oklahoma State, who's probably one of the biggest transfer portal gets in all college football. You get Bear Alexander, Kyan Bars, Anthony Lucas, Christian Roland Wallace coming in. And these transfers are going to have a big time impact for this defense. And you still have some great guys staying, including Kalen Bullock, your starting strong safety, as he led the team in interceptions. And Eric Gentry, who I personally think is one of the best linebackers in all college football. So this defense has the stars. It's just going to be if they can all just click, and if Alex Grinch is going to be able to form a defense that's actually going to stop offenses, because their defense last year was not good at all. The pass defense needs to improve drastically, in my opinion. They allowed tons of passing yards last year, and that's going to be the main thing for this USC defense. And now as we head into the schedule, USC is going to have tons of time to figure out what works, because all your tough games are in the latter half of the schedule. I think you'll beat San Jose State at home. I think you beat Nevada at home. And I think you beat Stanford at home. That's 3 straight wins from week 0, 1, and 2. Stanford is going to be the worst Pac-12 team this year in my opinion. And as you head into a bye week, then you head into Tempe to face Arizona State. Arizona State this year is not going to be good as well. So I think USC very easily handles Arizona State. And then you head into Colorado. And yes, Colorado's improved off last year. They're not going to be a bowl eligible team this year. So I think USC beats Colorado. And as you look at all your road games for the Pac-12, there's only really one true contest, and that's at Oregon at the end of the schedule, which we'll get to. And obviously the Notre Dame game, which is a rivalry game. But first, you do host Arizona at home, and this game is going to be very interesting in my opinion, because I think Arizona's offense, as we saw last season versus USC, they can run with their money in this game. Arizona is very offensive heavy. They have good wide receivers like Jacob Cowan, and you have a really good quarterback in Jaden DeLaura, but the Arizona's defense is not going to be good this year, and I think USC's defense is way better than Arizona's, so I think USC should handle Arizona at home. Next game, and this is where the tough schedule truly begins, October 14th at Notre Dame, and this is going to be in South Bend. Primetime NBC game. This is going to be an insane game. It's going to be close, but I think USC's offense is going to pull away on the road as USC survives on the road and beats the Fighting Irish. If you have Notre Dame winning this game, I would not be surprised. Notre Dame is going to be a top 12 team this year, I'd say. But USC, I think offensively is going to be too much for their defense. Give me USC to take one on the road. Next week, you host Utah, and I think USC is going to become prepared in this game. And yes, Utah does match up very well versus this USC team. We saw it last year. They beat them twice. I think USC is going to get their payback, and especially since this is in the Coliseum, I think this is going to be a good game, but I think USC gets their revenge and beats the Utes at home. Next game, you host Cal. Cal just is going to not be good this year. Justin Wilcox is probably gone after this season. USC is going to win this game. And this last three stretch is going to be insane for the Pac-12. First, you host Washington, and I am super high on Washington this year. We'll see that in my Washington predictions. But this is going to be a close game. But I think even though Washington might have that advantage defensively, I just think Caleb Williams is going to find a way to win this game. He's lost so many big games in his career. I think this is going to be the game where he bounces back. I'm going to take USC in a very close game, especially since it's in the Coliseum. I think fans are actually going to show up for this game. Give me USC to win this close game. Next week, you head into Alton versus Oregon, and this is where you stumble and take that loss. You can very easily beat Oregon on the road, but I think Oregon is the best defense outside of Notre Dame that you'll face. And I think USC is going to have so many obstacles this year. If that's at Notre Dame versus Washington versus Utah versus UCLA, I think Oregon is the most likely loss on this schedule, especially since they're rivals. This is probably going to be the last time we see these two teams play each other in a very long time. Oregon's going to beat USC at home in a very close matchup. In the final game of the season, you host UCLA. This is going to be another close game, but I just think UCLA is going to have a down year offensively. They're still going to have a really good offense. That's what Chip Kelly does, but it's not going to be as explosive as it was last season. Give me USC in a close game. And so as USC heads into the Pac-12 championship game, I have USC going 11-1 this year with their only loss in November versus Oregon. Now, I don't think USC is going to go 12-0 the regular season. I think you lose. You can go 10-2. We've seen a Lincoln Riley in the defense. They could stumble, but I think that's it. And also, it's very notable what games they can lose. At Notre Dame, versus Utah, versus Washington, and at Oregon. Potentially a home versus UCLA as well. But those are the 4 games USC is going to lose, or could potentially lose. I can't see any way you lose at Arizona State, at Colorado, or home versus Arizona, and you won't lose your first 3 games. There's no way. So I think USC is going to head into the Pac-12 championship in a win or go home scenario for the college football playoff. What's your predictions for USC? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, and like always, folks, have a good day. Peace out.